Hi everyone, this is Theresa Lentini with Home First Lending, and we are here today to introduce the Gina McReynolds Foundation. And today visiting with us is Will and Scott, and they're going to be introducing themselves and explaining why they started this foundation and give us a little history around it and why should we all help out and to support them. So thank you for coming by, Will McReynolds, and then you got Scott Smith.
Correct.
So Will, can you tell us a little bit about the foundation and how it got started?
Yeah. So basically, back in 2010, Gina, my late wife, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. In September 2010, she was 27 weeks pregnant with our third child. And so it was quite an ordeal that a bunch of guys from high school got behind to help us and do stuff. One of the great times for coming back to the community you grew up in. We went through treatments. We thought we were good in the summer of 2011. And then, and literally almost a year to the day later, in September 2011, it came back and it had spread to her lungs.
Oh.
So more treatments. Ultimately, they sent us to Houston for clinical trials. Once they exhausted everything in Florida, we traveled all around Florida. So I had to move the family out there for 6 weeks. I had to fly back and forth every weekend to Houston, come back here to work. Kids, we took them out of school. That was when a couple guys got together and said, hey, we want to do a fundraiser for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, that's great, I'll help you do it, but we need to get Gina's approval. So I came home that night and said, hey, the guys want to get together and do a golf tournament to raise money to help us with our travels to and from Houston. And she literally looked me in the eye and said, that's perfectly fine for us to accept this money, but you have to promise me that you'll do another one and you'll help another family. I went back to his house for a meeting with the guys and I said, so we're good to do this, but here's her wish. Her wish is that we promise to do another one and help another family just like ours that's a woman battling breast cancer, or man, battling breast cancer while raising kids, high school seniors or younger. So we had our first tournament, Gina was there, and we did very well to raise money to start the foundation. And then she passed away June 29th of 2012. So a couple months later, our tournament was in April, she passed away a few months later. So after I picked up the pieces, with the family and 3 young children, that's when we got back together as a group and started planning our second tournament. And we helped our first other family. And then that year we helped 3 or 4, I think it was. And then from there, it's been one of those things that just keeps building every year. Technically, we'd be over 150, I think, families now with the approval process, ones we've got in the works. And so what we do is we help them out financially to help try to cover deductibles. We help families usually year over year, because breast cancer isn't just diagnosed in January and you're done by December. It's typically a couple-year process. Then we've also got a forum where the girls can all talk, and on Facebook where they can help each other out, do things, and that's actually been one of the most popular aspects of it. Okay. Of course, they like the money that's helps them with the medical bills, but then being able to talk with sisters, as they call it, and help each other out has been really, really good.
So this foundation is to help the person that's actually going through the ordeal, but it's not just that, it's helping the families.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the families gets lost in the shuffle, and people don't realize that children are suffering, the husband's suffering, family members, and not everybody has the means to go back and forth and do what you did. I mean, I'm sure that getting help from the friends, took that pressure off of you to be able to help your wife, because your focus was on her.
Yeah.
So that's something that's different, from what I'm seeing, is different, a little different than just helping the actual patient and the one that's suffering from breast cancer, but it's helping the families to deal with it because they need support too.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's been many times we've taken some of the husbands out. I think I can think of time Mike and I took one to watch a football game at a place downtown one time, just on TV at the Hairy Buffalo. And and we became good friends with him. It's something we text back and forth sometimes. There's different board members. Everybody kind of goes to one of the husbands and tries to help them out if they need help. Some of them say, hey, I'm good. Some of them lean on us. Yeah. So and then the kids. Some of our kids have become friends with some of their kids, and it definitely is a family.
Yeah.
It's a whole family thing when a woman's going through it. But then, afterwards, they become part of what we call the Team Gina family. And, they keep coming back and coming to our events and stuff like that.
What I found interesting is that the board of the directors is men. And so I found that really intriguing. And we even questioned, I talked to Katie here, and she was like, wow, this is really interesting. It's all a panel of men. and made me interested in your story, because
Yeah.
people forget that there's, the men that are suffering with their wives. I mean, they're diagnosed too with a certain fate that they don't even know what's going to happen. I'm presently dealing with my sister with breast cancer. She's doing well.
Yeah.
So it hits home, and it hits home for every single family out there. Anybody that has a woman, a wife, a child, a sister, we all suffer from that, fear of a diagnosis like breast cancer, because we
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, some people do okay, and obviously you had an aggressive type of cancer, I'm sure, that she had to deal with. And it is detrimental to everyone involved. But moreover, you mentioned a Facebook group that is for the women that they call themselves
Yeah.
sisters. How great that is, because one thing we have to be careful of, the ones that are not dealing with that, is
Yeah.
to try to understand, or need the support that you're going to get is from women going through the same thing, because they understand.
Right.
And they're going through it. They're looking for different type of treatments and trying to find ways to deal with their family, their especially with small children. Your
Yeah.
wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
That's just horrible. And my goodness, your life just,
When you get that diagnosis, even as the spouse, I mean, but for the woman,
Mhm.
it's a shock. It's
Yeah.
a whirlwind, Then for the spouse, for the parents, for the friends.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember when we finally, got diagnosed, a couple days to ourselves, and then when we finally started, okay, now it's time to tell people what's going on.
Mhm.
I remember just getting in my car and driving and just calling friends and just
Yeah.
telling what was going on, and then that's when the support just started coming in. And and at first you don't want to ask for help.
right.
You want to try to handle it on your own, but
Mhm.
then ultimately, and that's some of the big advice I give the families, is when people offer help, they genuinely want to help, let them do it.
Yeah.
And you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, you need all the help you can get when you're going through it.
And I'm glad you're saying that, because sometimes for support, when you're the one that wants to give support, you feel like you're impeding and you're intruding in somebody else's situation. Sometimes we hold ourselves back without
Yeah.
even realizing it. But, you need the support.
Mhm.
And you're saying it's okay. It's okay to receive the support and give it to others, because you realize that it helped you and your children, and you know what you need to do to help somebody else out. That's what you guys are here now.
Yeah.
So, Scott, tell me what interests you in this organization, this foundation.
I know Mike. I've known Mike since we were about 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so we go way back.
Mhm.
Grew up in church and knew Will back in high school. As from the sports aspect, but really didn't know him. And I fast forward and I look at, we're 7 guys on a board. 6 of us, we went to high school together.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, this just doesn't make sense. And you alluded to earlier, the fact that we're guys on a breast cancer foundation board doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what we've realized is what we're doing, even though it doesn't make sense, it feels good, it feels right, we're at peace with it, but we're offering hope. And I remember, back after, what Will said, the diagnosis part of what Gina, and Will went through initially. Mike called me, he's like, hey, can I borrow your enclosed trailer for registration? I'm thinking, for the first golf tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what? I'm like, well, whatever, But I see we had humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
But I see where what we do in offering the support, the hope, the community, the hugs, the words of encouragement, the whatever somebody needs, we're there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just average and ordinary guys
Yeah.
that all have a skill set that if we were to start a business, great, this is the 7 guys you want.
Mm-hmm.
But we're doing it out of the goodness of our heart to see somebody else better, to get through this struggle, to get through this trial, to build a community that people are looking for.
Right.
Even without the diagnosis, even without the struggle, they're just looking for that, and we're offering that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, man, we got something pretty special.
Yeah.
And so I look back at what, that one question that Mike asked, and I said, sure, use it.
Mm-hmm.
Offered the hope that started the trend
Right.
that has now gotten to where we're hitting a milestone of 150, but we're not done yet.
Right.
We haven't even really, I
Yeah.
don't think we've even started the journey yet. That was just the testing season. Say, hey, yeah, we can really do this. And to see what is coming together. Conversations like what we're having to tell what we're doing, because we don't take any money from the foundation.
I was gonna, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that interests me as well was the percentage that you guys collect and donate to the families. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
One of the things we said from the beginning was that nobody will ever be compensated for this. If there is somebody on the board that has a skill set that his company can do something, say, because there's one in particular, it's all just his cost, which is wonderful. And he's helped us tremendously with the things that he does for the foundation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we try to run at 90% or more that goes back to the families. You know, you have to use money to fundraise money. So,
Sure.
there's times of the year that if you were to audit us on that moment, it'd be a little different. But in the grand scheme of things, everything that we do is put into raising money. Nobody takes any compensation from it. And we give back everything we can to the families. And
That's great.
Scott alluded to, our journey's just beginning. We look forward to the day we can shut it down because they find a cure.
Yeah.
And then just disperse everything to scholarships for the kids or something like that. But, until then, we're committed to doing the events that we do to raise money to give it all right back.
Yeah, it's like no family gets left behind, right?
Yeah. I would say Scott said something that I wanted to hit on too, that one of the neatest things is there's 7 of us on the board, but there's an army behind us. Volunteers and people that some of them breast cancer's touched, some of them breast cancer hasn't, but they love seeing what we've done. One of the neat things, and COVID has really changed it, we used to meet with every single family as a board, or as many of us that could be there, to get to know them, to deliver the financial check, to get them set up on the Facebook group. I would help them with medical bills and questions they had, whatever it could be. Since COVID, we had to stop that for a long time, and we've only met with a few here recently. But once we get back to that, come in, and, you could come, or somebody, people want to come out and actually see us in action. We've always invited people to do that, which has been really, really neat. But volunteering for us is huge. We've got our big events, our golf tournament in April every year, our 5K in October.
Okay.
So we always can take volunteers. Of course, financial donations, knowing that it's coming into an organization that's just going to use it to put back into families that need the help.
Yeah.
Or to kids. We have done some things before where we've helped families that are super in need with school supplies, with even clothing and stuff like that. Because a lot of times, and I guess that's stuff that we could take in, to help out our families too. Donations of that type of stuff. But a lot of times they've got to quit their job.
Yeah.
We've had very few that have been able to actually work through their diagnosis and their treatments.
Yeah.
So, when you're on chemo, when you're going through radiation, when you're doing all that, it's a process.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so yeah.
So, do you have any events coming up that you want to tell anybody about?
Our big one would be the golf tournament.
The golf
right?
tournament in April. So,
In April?
Yeah, we host that out at Orange County National, just in the Winter Garden, West Orange area. And it's been crazy to see what that actually has turned into.
Yeah.
People look forward to it when the tournament's done. As we ended in April, they're like, okay, when do we sign up for next year?
Having those type of events helps us see that it's still there.
Right.
Because if you don't have these type of events, a lot of people don't realize that it's not just about raising funds, but it's the awareness to make sure that people are still aware this is happening.
Right.
It can happen to anyone, and there's help out there. So I really appreciate what you're doing.
And I think what we've understood is that we understand that October is the awareness month, but we really understand that it's a year-round battle, it's a struggle. And so it's to see the continued just positives coming out of this, what we look at as ordinary, insignificant. Is it really making an impact kind of thing as we meet as a board weekly? And to really put it into context, it's not about us, but what are people saying about us? What are people feeling because of what we're doing? And to see that year-round aspect of just support and love and hope and just sharing it together in community that makes us unique. But anything that we try to do in events, we always look outside the box.
Yeah.
And I really think whether you look at us as 7 guys, you look at the events that we host that are very much different than the norm. But really what's being formed is not normal.
Right.
And I think we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Because we want people to know that there's more under the surface of what it is that's just not financial. When you see an organization out there saying, hey, we're here to help you, but we're truly here to help the need, which is inside.
Yeah.
To really help the family understand that, hey, we're here to support you through thick and thin. You call us at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're there for you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go have a glass of wine, we're here for you. Wherever you need, we're there to meet that need.
You know, you know, one of the things that I when I read up on Gina, she said something that was really resonated with me, and she mentioned, you know, that for her it was about the strength that she needed to get through this.
Right.
And whatever God's will is, that's what she said.
Yeah.
When you are there to assist and to help families, it helps them have peace within themselves.
Yeah. Correct.
You know, and they, you know, you could end up angry over a situation like that. But the support of the family and friends could totally turn that around.
Yep.
And the fact that there are people that really care and support, no matter what we're going through, whether it's breast cancer or anything else.
Yeah.
Family and friends are important. We are human beings.
Absolutely.
So when you're doing something for someone else, it's something that's not in vain. It's not like buying a brand new car and doing whatever with your.
Yeah.
It's really something that doesn't take. Is not a selfish thing to do. So when we all contribute to that, you have to feel good about it at the end. That you help the child, and if that child gets older, guess what that child's gonna do? It's gonna resonate with what you just did and pay it forward.
Yep.
And that's what we want to continue encouraging. So going into 2022, how do you see? How do you see Foundation? Like, how do you see yourself growing? And
Yeah. I mean, so this is our 10-year anniversary.
wow,
So we're, you know,
congratulations!
it will
on
be
that.
our
Yeah.
9th golf tournament because of COVID. We had to cancel one, but so we're you know, Brandon, this is our 10-year anniversary golf tournament. You know, I mean, we hope we don't help any families because nobody gets diagnosed, but we
Right.
know that that's not the truth. So, you know, we just want to keep ourselves in the position that we never have to turn a family away.
Okay.
Continue to grow it. You know, we're doing some twists on our golf tournament this year, which we always try to do to get people excited about it. And so we're in the planning phases of that now. And then with our 5K next year, we're talking about making it more of a 5K in the morning and then possibly an event in the evening at the same venue over in Apopka at the amphitheater. So you know, we've got a lot of stuff in the works. Always trying to add some things in, and then just, you know, trying to spread the word as much as we can so we can get corporate sponsors and we can get, you know, individual donors and stuff like that to help us with our mission.
Okay. Well, Will and Scott, I appreciate you coming down, sharing this as a woman. I totally appreciate everything that you're doing. Seeing, you know, just seeing families going through things, and the fact that organizations like yours, I've seen help these families. I totally believe in it and encourage you guys to continue going to find ways to help the families. So thank you, Scott and Will, for joining us today. And could you tell our audience how to reach you again and how to reach your foundation?
Yeah. So our Facebook page is just under Team Gina, and you can go there, and if you like us, then you can follow events and different things that we have. And then our website is teamgina.org, where you can go, you can see videos, you can meet some of the families we've helped, all that kind of stuff, and it's very interactive.
Okay, thank you guys, and Home First Lending will provide more information as well. Teamgina.org, pay them a visit.